the death of Kobe Bryant and also the reaction we are seeing from people to that death. How are you summing this together when you're talking to people?
Well, you just realize that we lost somebody very, very special. And I think that somebody said earlier that anybody associated with the NBA community, I think it was Coach Alvin Gentry at New Orleans Pelicans, he said anybody associated with the NBA community is incredibly devastated by the loss of Kobe Bryant. He's a 5-time champion. We know all of those things. We know he was a winner. We know his dedication and his commitment to excellence. But, you know, there was life beyond basketball, and it wasn't just about him winning an Academy Award. It wasn't just about him doing detail for ESPN Plus or a plethora of other things that he was working on. He was really highlighting for basketball players, for athletes, professional athletes everywhere and beyond, that there is life after your initial aspiration has ultimately expired. You know, he wanted to be a basketball player all his life, wanted to be a superstar NBA player and a champion, and he achieved that. Well, what do you do from there, and how easy is it to make that transition? Well, Kobe Bryant was one of those folks that preached about being prepared to make that transition, preparing yourself ahead of time, understanding that it can't last forever, but if you go about the business of putting forth your due diligence and making sure that you set new goals, new things to aspire for and to pursue and ultimately to achieve, life can be just as fulfilling beyond those days of playing than you ever imagined. And it was something that he talked about on numerous occasions with athletes. So if you look at a LeBron James, the Dwayne Wades of the world and others, and look at how they've evolved from being just professional athletes to being so much more than that, particularly in the business community, ask them about their relationship with Kobe Bryant. Ask them about the wisdom that he imparted upon them. Ask them about when they all went to Beijing for the 2008 Olympics and what have you, and the kind of things that he talked to them about and he religiously talked to them about, and how it served as an inspiration for them to go and extend that level of wisdom and knowledge to other people. This was who Kobe Bryant was. It was who he aspired to be. He wanted to motivate. He wanted to inspire. He wanted to make a difference far beyond the basketball court, while still reminding you that when it was his time, he did all he could to never cheat himself, never cheat the Lakers organization, never cheat the game of basketball, never cheat anybody from getting exactly what they expected from him. An all-out effort in pursuit of a level of excellence achieved by very, very few people on the planet Earth. It was who he was, it was who he wanted to be, and it was who I knew him to be, not just as a reporter that covered him, but ultimately, once he retired, somebody that I considered a genuine friend, who was clearly a friend to me. And it's devastating that he's gone, and we're all hurting right now. I just got off the phone with Shaq. Shaq was crying, and a couple of other people were just incredibly hurt by what's transpired. I know I've shed some tears. I know Jalen and others, Jay Williams and others, have shed the tears as well. It's devastating. You know, that's the best way I can put it.
Steve, I spent 10 years in Los Angeles covering the Lakers and so many of the teams there in LA. And the thing about Kobe Bryant that stood out to me, when you're in Hollywood, there are some big stars that go out, and not everybody is an A-list star. You have Jack Nicholson sitting courtside. Those are big stars. But every time Kobe Bryant walked into a room or even walked into Staples Center, he was the biggest star there, because even the biggest celebrities wanted to talk to Kobe Bryant. He was the guy that everyone was looking to be near, to talk to get a little piece of something as they walked away from him. For those watching right now who don't know necessarily the entire athletic career of Kobe Bryant and what it means to the game of basketball, put into perspective, if you would, Stephen A., in only the way that you can, how big of a star Kobe Bryant was.
Well, he was definitely a mega star. I mean, obviously there's Michael Jordan, and then you look at others, and Kobe Bryant was right there in terms of his cachet, what he meant, his signature, what he was all about, the Mamba mentality and what have you. But you got to go back, take into consideration he's at Lower Merion High School. He's at Lower Merion High School, and he's All-American. He comes straight to the pros. He's telling you he's going to be as great as Michael Jordan. And then even the great Michael Jordan, when he retired, all the names that you would bring up, he said, that guy right there, Kobe Bryant, is the guy that I look at when it comes to challenging me, because of the mentality that Kobe Bryant had. And then again, you take it beyond the court of play. As I talked to you about it earlier, you know, I'm hosting a show, quite frankly, on ESPN 2 years ago, and everybody's talking about, go ahead, do this, do those interviews, do that. You're going to be the next Oprah. And Kobe Bryant comes onto the show. He said, love Oprah, but forget all of that. It ain't about Oprah. It's Harpo. He was talking about what she owned, not what she was in front of the camera. And those are the kind of things that he constantly reminds you of when you thought your aspirations were enough, when you thought they were lofty enough to pursue, and that was it. He was always reminding you that there was so much more to achieve, and that was what was so special about him.
Stephen A., as always, appreciate the perspective on the life and legacy of Kobe Bryant, dead at the age of 41.
You know, there aren't too many people that are inextricably linked with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, but Kobe Bryant is one of those.
There in the Calabasas area regarding the helicopter crash that Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna were on board. During that press conference, they would not confirm any of the identities of the people on board that helicopter, although multiple outlets, including ESPN, have confirmed that Kobe Bryant was indeed on board that helicopter with his 13-year-old Gianna. Initially, we were told, Zubin, that there were 5 people on board, but according to officials there were 9 bodies involved in that crash. Again, more information coming out. We will continue to follow it throughout the evening here on the ABC and Disney family of networks.
Indeed. So Kobe was a father, a husband, an NBA legend, and Academy Award winner, and he was also an icon, and he's gone too soon. We're joined by Jalen Rose, ESPN NBA analyst, and Jalen, every single guest we've had on, from Spike Lee to Gary Payton, people that admired him, people that played with him, we all asked them the very same first question. What's your reaction?
This is a devastating day for humanity, and I know Kobe Bryant was one of the top basketball players of all time. But he was educated. He was a gentleman who spoke multiple languages. He was a father. He was a husband. He was really disciplined and hardworking. He was a guy that had perseverance, somebody that I got a chance to meet when he first entered the NBA. I was living in Los Angeles, getting a chance to be in the gym with him at UCLA earlier in his career. I lived in downtown Los Angeles for a long period of time, basically had a place in Los Angeles his entire career. And playing against him in the 2000 NBA Finals, watching him get his first NBA championship, then covering him as a member of the media basically for the last 20 years. He was always gracious and respectful. He was always the smartest guy in the room and the hardest working guy in the room. And it graduated to later in his career. We know about the historic 81-point performance, and it uniquely now positions me to feel like I'm honored to have not only having the opportunity to take the floor with him at any point of his career, but for one of his more notable moments. Being at appearances with Kobe, I got a chance to speak at his basketball camp. He was someone that supported the high school I founded and gifted us gym shoes. He was really diligent about the things that he believed in. He was an industry tastemaker. And we're really going to miss Kobe, not only, again, as an example of a basketball player, but as somebody that gave so much to humanity and is gone way too soon.
I want to ask you a question for those that are watching on ABC that may be familiar with Kobe Bryant and his exploits, but maybe don't know him the way some of our viewers on ESPN, the avid sports fans, do. Throughout the afternoon, every guest has come on and said it was all about embodying the Mamba mentality. For those that don't know the Mamba, Kobe's nickname, can you help put into perspective, from Jerry Colangelo down to Gary Payton, owners to players, everybody experiencing and admiring the Mamba mentality? What did that mean for this once-in-a-lifetime athlete?
It was an all-around exhaustion to prove to himself and the rest of the world that he could be the greatest of all time. And it was something that he talked about earlier in his career. And when you start saying right out of high school that you're going to be better than Michael Jordan, you're going to get a lot of kikis and a lot of snickers. And for Kobe Bryant to be the next best thing that we've ever seen to the game, to MJ, is really impressive. A 5-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, NBA MVP. Academy Award winner. He was a well-rounded man and gone way too soon, and continues to serve as an example of a 41-year-old man. Wow. And I've said this on multiple occasions. We can't just take the time and energy to bring flowers to the funeral, so to speak, to those that we love, but also bring them soup when they're sick. And if there's people in your life that you have strained relations with, I remember I had a point in my life where I didn't meet my father, and I felt really bitter about it my entire life. And to have that opportunity to release that energy and that negativity on my heart and that anxiety, I just want to implore everybody that can hear my voice, if you have that opportunity to do that in your life with friends and families, take that opportunity, because life clearly is way too short.
It's well said, Jalen. I know you said you lived in downtown Los Angeles for years. We should mention the Lakers are off today. They're off tomorrow. They will be back in action Tuesday at the Staples Center, where thousands have gathered outside right now to pay tribute to Kobe Bryant. They will take on the Los Angeles Clippers on that night, and you can only imagine the amount of emotion that will be in that building Tuesday night in downtown Los Angeles. Before I let you go, at 41 years old, with everything he accomplished as a father and a player, probably more important as a father, he would tell you, Kobe Bryant's legacy is?
Kobe Bryant's legacy of one of great discipline, great dedication. You talked about him being a father and being a husband, and watching players, how they evolve when they retire, Zubin. It's a really tough transition. It's not about how much money that you made or the accolades that you've been able to achieve. It's the ability to reinvent yourself. And I remember doing an 81 Olives commercial with Kobe Bryant. And in that commercial, he talked about being a businessman, being an investor, being somebody that's going to coach his daughters and continue to be a beacon for hope in society. So we lost a truly great man, and I'm really devastated by it.